Hey guys, welcome to my world. I'm John Maffio, also known as MaffmanJones, and today is my first ever double feature. These double features are something that I'm going to incorporate into MaffmanJones because sometimes I see more than one movie on the same day and I can't make more than one review because it's very time consuming, so I'm going to just condense the time. So when the circumstances call for it, I'm going to do these movie reviews where I review two movies in one video. Let's start with Blue Jazzy, directed by Woody Allen. This is actually the first Woody Allen movie that I have seen ever in a movie theater. This one stars Cate Blanchett, Bobby Cannavale, Andrew Dice Clay, Alec Baldwin, and a few other people, and you'll notice later that there's some actors from this movie that are also in Lovelace, which is weird because I saw them both in the same day. But this movie is basically about this self-absorbed, narcissistic character named Jasmine, and after she marries Alec Baldwin, who plays this Bernie Madoff type character who was involved in a Ponzi scheme, she's forced to move in with her sister who lives in a middle-class life. Now, I specified this again, this is the first Woody Allen movie that I have ever seen in theaters and in full, ever. I never really got interested in Woody Allen movies, but this movie really impressed me, and I was engrossed the whole time. As far as Oscar leading ladies are concerned, I think this is the first contender because Cate Blanchett gives a performance which is so riveting and so interesting. Cate Blanchett basically carries the film on her own characteristic, adept skills. You see where she's coming from also psychologically, and it's actually quite sad, but it's very believable. Aside from her though, the rest of the cast is also very good. You got Louis C.K. in there, who has a very small role, but he's good in it. Bobby Cannavale, who you might know from Boardwalk Empire, basically plays the Marlon Brando from Streetcar Named Desire in this movie, that type of character. And you also got Andrew Dice Clay, who actually my father likes a lot. I don't really care about him, but he has a really good performance in this movie too. Everybody comes to play. Blue Jasmine is a character piece, but what makes it a great movie is the way it's told narratively through a non-linear structure. And you really get engrossed and invested in these characters, even though Cate Blanchett plays a very narcissistic character, you still feel for her character, like I said before, and you want to see where her journey goes throughout this 90-minute experience. It's also surprisingly humorous, but not in an outrageous way. It's that Woody Allen humor, which is very quirky, it's very acquired, and it's not for everybody, but the humor comes from the actual characters, not from a stupid joke like you might see in a spoof movie. Despite the fact that this humor doesn't really amuse me much, it really feels believable, and the personalities that these actors bring in their characters really sells the comedy. Which leading from that, the screenplay is fantastic. Aside from that, I have no complaints on a technical level or as a movie because I was so engrossed in the story that any technical things that were wrong with it I didn't notice. But it was a well-shot movie, and I didn't really notice any flaws in that regard. All I can really say as a criticism is that it's not for everybody, and not everybody will go into this movie and walk out of it liking it. If you like Woody Allen, it's for you. If you don't like Woody Allen, well, don't see this movie then. Overall, Blue Jasmine is a solid character piece with some really good comedy, a solid story that's very engrossing, and some Oscar contending acting, especially from Cate Blanchett, who should get nominated as Best Actress for sure. It's a darn good movie, 4 out of 5 stars.
This video that nobody cares about is sponsored by the advocated use of ball sacks. Please use them properly because nobody likes loose sweaty balls lying on your grandmother's face. Enjoy the rest of your movie.
And now on to Lovelace, which stars the incredibly cute Amanda Seyfried, Hank Azaria, Peter Sarsgaard again, Bobby Cannavale again. This movie is not a full-life biography, but it's a biography of Linda Lovelace, who is a cute, sweet, young, naive girl who got into the porn business for about 17 days, where she made this really popular movie, or perhaps the most popular porn movie of all time, called Deep Throat, which released in theaters back in its day, and it made a lot of money. Right off the tip of my condom, right off the tip of the bat, I could say that I didn't love Lovelace, but I did enjoy it very much, and I did enjoy many aspects of the movie, including the actual atmosphere of the 1970s, a lot of the acting, along with the story, which was a little manipulative with the emotions, but it was a solid journey. Just like with Blue Jasmine, what primarily sells this movie is the acting, because everybody comes to play. Amanda Seyfried got lost in that Linda Lovelace role. Peter Sarsgaard, who has a more prominent role here than in Blue Jasmine, plays a really disturbingly creepy man with a stash. You do get a feeling from the get-go that he's a creepy character, but you really see his true colors going through the second half of the film, and he did some good work here in this movie, some really damn good work. Everybody else was great too, but I want to mention Sharon Stone and Robert Patrick because they were great as the parents of Linda, and you really felt their say, stress and worries over their daughter in this movie? Because if you had a daughter and she grew up and became a porn star and became one of the biggest porn stars of all time for her time, would you be proud of her? Yeah? You sick f***. The screenplay and the story were decent enough to carry a 90-minute movie too. This movie's actually not that long, which is a good thing because it didn't overstay its welcome. It was rough and muddled at moments, but I did enjoy the fact that it had a non-linear type of storyline where if it shows you the bright side of the porn industry in the first half of the movie, and in the second half of the movie it goes back and shows the same scenes but in a different light. A very dark tone. But perhaps my favorite aspect of the movie was the atmosphere. This movie takes place in the 1970s primarily, and they really captured that 70s tone in this movie. The movie looks like a 1970s picture. It also has a great soundtrack, and I wouldn't revisit this movie, but if you were to do that, the best reason to do it would be to listen to the music again. Oh, and also for Amanda Seyfried's Rack, too. If you're into that kind of thing. Overall, Lovelace was a very good biographical flick which depicted a sad story in a well-executed manner. It had good acting, it had great atmosphere, and it wasn't a fun movie to watch, obviously, but it does show the porn industry in a light which should be acknowledged, I guess. It's a darn good Applebee's meal, a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And now the most important question of the day. Have you seen Blue Jasmine or Lovelace? And if you've seen either or both, let me know what you thought about both movies in the comments down below. Please subscribe to MaffmanJones and like this video if you liked this video.
I almost caught my tongue there.
Also, check out Facebook, Twitter, and We Live Film in the info box. I'm John Maffio, aka MaffmanJones. This has been a double feature. See you next time, bitches.